Hello my friends, welcome to day 28. We have gotten fiery, haven't we? These classes have gotten really intense, but hopefully you are still with me and feeling good. If so, let's dive right into it. We will need a weight today. Just a 2-pounder is fine, or if you don't have weights, that's okay. You can just go through the motions. If you're really sure you're ready, you can do something heavier like a 10 or a 12, but I'll show you what we're doing in just a sec. Let's go ahead and begin with the standing windmills that we did just yesterday, where you do the lift of the pelvic floor, drawing in of your low abs, and exhale as you touch toward the ground. Remember, your knees can be bent. You inhale, and then you do that decompression breath. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep going with that move. Remember, knees can be bent. Remember that your back is pretty flat as you're doing this move, so you're not hunchy, roundy like this. If you don't have the flexibility to go all the way down, that's fine. You can just touch toward your inner thigh or maybe your inner calf. But you want to keep your back fairly straight and not hunching over. Keep going just a couple more. We want to keep with the exhale and the decompression breath as you touch, and then the inhale as you stand up. So wrap it up here. One more on each side. And let it go. So that's a lot of resilient kind of trampoline-like movement of the pelvic floor and the breath when you're doing that type of move. You're getting a lot of activation and release. I hope you felt it. Let's go ahead and do our next move, which is a kettlebell swing. So like I said, this is kind of an intense move, but we can break it down and do it in a way that really activates the glutes and the pelvic floor and keeps it safe. So I'm gonna grab my 2-pound weight. Remember that you don't have to use weights at all, but please start with something lighter than you think you can or should do. We wanna start with light just to get the move down. In this position, you can just hold the weight like this, and you are going to sit back like you're sitting back into a chair. Don't let your knees come forward. We want to sit way back. You want to swing just up to chest height. You don't want to go back like this. So swinging just up to chest height, and you're squeezing your glutes and really almost doing that kind of pelvic tilt that we've been working on. We've been working on it since the beginning of camp, but really that's what you're doing at the top of the motion is a pelvic tilt. We talked about this toward the beginning of camp, like a pelvic clock, where you're going to 12 o'clock. So think of that again. Think of the squeezing of the glutes and the pelvic tilt as you exhale and bring that weight up to chest height. So it is a swing, but it's not all just momentum. There's a lot of control with this as well. So let's together do it 10 times. And I want you to really feel that activation of the glutes, the pelvic floor, the inner thighs as you stand up into the straight legs. So 10 times starting now. Sitting back. Last one. All right. Go ahead and let it go. Now, since we were using that light weight, that shouldn't have been too much. But if you want to try it next time you do this workout with a heavier weight, you can. Just be sure that you don't ever hold your breath, because the holding of your breath can be real problematic for your pelvic floor, especially if you have a condition such as prolapse. So please, when you try it with a heavier weight, it's going to be more. You're going to have to be even more aware that you are really using your glutes and using your breath in order to keep the movement safe. Okay, so our next move is the hanging tree pose, just like before, but I want to reach our arms this time. So standing nice and tall and aligned, we lift our pelvic floor. So this is an endurance Kegel right here. Lifting that pelvic floor, holding everything strong and lifted, low abs pulled in, low ribs knitted in, nice and aligned. Bring that leg up, not into a regular tree, but into a hanging tree. Again, for some people, this is going to feel easier than tree pose. For others, not so much. So nice and lifted through the core. Bring your arms up, and maybe you can do some arm movements. Maybe one arm comes down and then up, and then the other arm down and up. Breathe and stay really solid and engaged through the core. Maybe you can sway like a tree. Keep going. A couple more breaths. Keep everything really engaged and lifted through the hips, through the core, and then release the leg down and shake it all out. Shake out the legs. Take a deep belly breath. Blossom the sitting bones apart. And other side. So now straighten out the feet. Nice, perfect alignment. Lift up the pelvic floor, the low abs. Zip up your core. That's how I like to say it. You're zipped up. And we bring the other leg out to the side. Hanging tree. Toes are spread and lifted through that core. Make sure that hip isn't jutted out to the side. Draw it in and lift the arms. Maybe one arm comes down and up, or maybe you sway side to side like a tree, swaying in the breeze. Remember, we may sway, we may bend, but we won't break. And if we fall a little bit, it's okay. We just stumble and then we get right back up. It's totally okay. It happens. So challenge yourself. Don't push yourself too hard and too far. You don't want to push yourself into pain, but you do want to push yourself to your edge. Okay, release that leg down and then let go. Shake it all out. Release, release, release. We're going to go right in to our Kegels. We've been working slowly throughout this program on increasing our reps of quick Kegels and also in our endurance. This whole class today, we've been working on endurance of the pelvic floor and also coordination and control. Now let's just plain old work on quick Kegels. 45, that's the most we've done to date. So let's go for it. Begin now. Squeeze and lift, release. Squeeze and lift, release. Keep going. If you need to change position, if you were kind of like I was and cattywampus with your feet, then please stand in an aligned position. If you want to, you can try to do your Kegel squeeze and releases as you're walking, but don't push yourself too hard. If that's too much, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You can always keep working on this as you go, as you continue on your own. So just make sure you're doing that 45 reps. The reason we do these quick Kegels, as I've said time and again, is to learn how to activate our muscles quickly and effectively and efficiently, a little bit extra when we need them. Times we might need those pelvic floor muscles to kick on a little bit more than they naturally are, because these are part of our core. They're part of our postural and stability muscles. So our pelvic floor is really kind of always a little bit on, but we need them to turn extra on when we feel a cough or a sneeze coming on, when we're gonna blow our nose, when we're going to lift something, when we're laughing with friends and our bladder is full and we need to hold everything in, or when we can't make it to the bathroom on time. So there's lots of situations when we really need to know how to quickly and easily activate the pelvic floor. So finish up. You might have 5 or 10 more, or you might be done, but go ahead and wrap this up. And I want you to know that when you're completely done with your Kegels today, your 45 Kegels, I want you to take some time to release that pelvic floor. If you're able to do it in standing or sitting and just thinking about blooming those sitting bones apart, that's wonderful. If it helps you to maybe come down into a deep squat stretch all the way down on the floor, that's also great. Whatever feels good to you, release the pelvic floor. You can also, another great move is to lie down on your back with your legs up the wall. Then drop your legs apart into a V. So you've got one leg away from the other one against the wall. It's a really nice way to relax the pelvic floor. So no matter what you do, thank you so much for being here. We have 2 more days of camp left. Can you believe it? I will see you then. And until next time, remember, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter.